right. What's going on? How y'all doing out there? I am back and it is Friday night. Wherever you at, Friday morning, I don't care as long as you are tuned in. I am your host, Industrial Dave, and tonight or today, we are going to be talking about can you work on the road? All right. Can you? It's a bunch of answers to that question. All right. So I'm going to go over a few topics of a few pros and cons of what it's like working on the road and if the road life is for you. Okay. So let's get into the first thing. I'm going to talk about a few pros first. Working on the road, you want to chase overtime. You don't go out of town to work 40 hours. What point is that? There's no point in working 40 hours and you're not even home. You're sitting in a room. First of all, let's go over the bills, okay? When you're working on the road, more than likely, if you are paying out of your own pocket, you're probably not going to be staying in the best of hotels, okay? Most of your nicer hotels, like your Holiday Inns and Embassy Suites or whatever, all that fancy jazz. You're out of town for work. You're probably not going to be staying in those types of hotels. So you're not going to be paying $150 a night unless you just got it like that or your company's paying for it. We'll get into that too for sure. But more than likely, you're going to be staying in your mid, your Super 8s and your Motel 6s and Red Roofs and your Nights In, okay? If you've been on the road, you know what the Nights In is. I don't even have to say that. And then your motels for the most part, okay? If you're paying out of your pocket, you're probably staying in a motel. Nothing wrong with that, all right? I have my limits now that I done got older. I can't stay at those $200 a night hotels anymore. Um, I say that because you're going to want to try to save as much money as you can. You know, if you're getting per diem, whether you're getting $60 to $150 a day, that's extra money that you're going to want to put away. So you're going to try to stay in the most quote economical hotel that you could find. So think about that. All right. Most of your kind of average decent okay hotels are gonna be between your 350 and 480 range. That's what I've kind of noticed. Right about 500, it gets a little nicer and you might want to start splitting or whatever. And another thing that you can do is if you are willing to pay $300 a night, find someone else who might not have an issue of sharing a room. Maybe they're on a different shift and then you guys can both pay 300 and get a room for 600. Now, the thing about that is you're getting a way better quality of room for $600 a week versus you pay $300 a week. And you could double down and find a $300 a week room and both of you guys pay $150. Would I recommend that? Eh, probably not. Your $300 rooms are gonna look like $300 rooms. Okay, so if you want to do that, it's up to you. Now, again, working on the road, overtime, overtime, overtime. That is the whole idea about working on the road. You want to find the jobs on the road so you can work as many hours as possible. Okay, you're not there for vacation. You're not there to chill. You are there to work 10, 12, 14, and however many hours and how many days that they have available. You need to get in and get out, okay, with as much money as possible. Another thing, let's see what we got here. All right, for some of my guys who might have, you might have a dually or a nice big truck, get a fifth wheel. I'm not that type. I've never had like a diesel or a pickup or anything like that. But I know a lot of guys swear by having a fifth wheel slash a camper on them. Okay, it's almost well, it's not almost. It is your own personal space, so you can do whatever you want with it. If you don't feel like picking the clothes up, you can leave them exactly where they're at. You know where everything is. No one's coming in and out of your camper because it belongs to you. The job's over. You just hook it up and go. Some people swear by it. One thing that might be a little bit difficult is, of course, you're going to get less gas mileage and fuel mileage on your truck. You're going to have to find a spot for your electricity and everything. And depending on what part of the country you're on, it might be somewhere nice where it's vacation time for everybody else. So the campsites might be taken up, or they could be overpriced where you could have just bought a hotel room instead of bringing your camper. So that's a whole thing in itself. But if you like your privacy and you don't like housekeeping or that knock where you're working night shift like I always do, and they come and they bug you in the middle of the day, a fifth wheel might be your option. You might like that. Let's see, what else do we got? Budgeting your food, okay? Hmm. Most people don't even do that on a 9 to 5 job, let alone being on the road. Budgeting your food is very important, okay? Especially when you're making anywhere from $500 to $700 a day. You're not thinking about how much money you're spending, okay? It's easy to go to Longhorns for dinner or Cracker Barrel for breakfast, sometimes both, and then eat at the plant again. And before you know it, you spent your per diem or even half of your per diem just eating when you didn't have to. The more money that you make on the road, most guys tend to try to spend less. They'll grab that cup of noodles every day, or they'll make sandwiches and fruits and cut them up with their lunch pails and everything to just try to save as much money as they logically can. And I've noticed that I've done that myself, where the more money I've made on a particular job, I've tried to kind of save as much as I can. It's like the more money I've made, I want to save every bit of it while I can, because I know the job's not going to last forever. So budgeting your food is very, very important. I recommend buying a lunch pail. That will help you, okay, as long as you're not packing it every day with junk food and all that stuff, whatever. But budget for your food. That can make or break you. Now, here's another cool one, okay? This one is a little tricky. Most guys tend to want to obviously work where the wages are high, right? California, again, I've said this numerous times. California, the boroughs of New York, Jersey, Chicago, Minneapolis, all these places have great paying jobs. Now, let's take California, for example. What is the point of making $65 an hour when you're traveling out of town, but the hotel is 750 a week? Okay? That is something you're going to have to think about. You're going to have to try to add and subtract the best places where you can go work that have a good hourly wage versus your living expenses. For example, what's the point of making $65 an hour, and let's say you're taking home 3500 a week, or even 4000 a week, all right? Let's say you're taking home 4000 a week, but you're spending $800 a week on a hotel. Okay? What's the point? What about going somewhere you might be making 35 or $40 an hour, but the hotels are only 250 a week? You know, you're going to have to add that up and see where you can win. Find out what's going to be the best for your situation and then go from there. Just do simple math and see where your pockets could take you, where you want to go, and where you're going to really make the most money, right? You want to calculate the cost for your hotel. Is the state I'm working in, do they pay good unemployment? Is the package that I'm working for good? Do they give me a vacation on my hourly rate. All this stuff matters when you are traveling. So these are just things that you're gonna have to really take in consideration depending on what part of the country you want to work on. Okay. This one sucks. Okay. I'm just gonna be straight up with you. If you are working on the road, listen, I gotta this one sucks. I gotta drink to this, all right? I gotta drink to this one. You are gonna miss everything, okay? There is no way around it. You're gonna miss everything. All right? There is no there's a work-life balance, but there's not, okay? If you are young, single, no kids, this is what you want to do. You want to be on the road chasing money, okay? Do it. Do it, do it, do it. That is the best thing that you can do if you are young, middle age, older, no kids. Do it. I highly recommend doing that, okay? If you have the more responsibilities abilities you have, the harder it is to work on the road. You don't even have to have kids, all right? If you've got a business at home or anything, you're not going to be able to manage it on the road. It's just part of it, right? And throw a wife in there, okay? If you have a wife, you guys don't have any kids, and let's say she's not working, that could work out in your favor too. You know, you guys can travel together. I've done that with my wife in the past. It was beautiful. It was wonderful. We went everywhere together. It was very fun. You know, it was a good experience. When the kids start coming along, do you want your kid on the road with you? You know what I mean? Just think about that. All right. Are you gonna be in and out of hotels? And it's crazy the way it sounds, you know, in and out of hotels with your wife and your kid, you know, but hey, you are, making six figures, you could be making 90, you could be making 115,000 a year, but you are it's like you're there, but you're not there, okay? It's good to come home after a job or come to the room and you see your kids there or whatever, you might be in a, a 400 square foot hotel room, but you'll have a pocket full of money. But would I suggest traveling around with a young child? You're gonna have to make that decision on your own. All right. So think about that one. Really, really think if you want to travel with your kid and your wife on the road. Now, missing everything, of course, you don't want to do that, right? You got the house at home, you taking care of home, the bills and all that stuff. You know, your kid is doing well in school. They got the biggest toys, they got the best toys. They're going on all the field trips. The missus is taken care of, but you're not there to see it. You're never there. You're always on FaceTime. You're always missing every little event. The back to school night, the birthdays, the you just miss it. And the only way that you can't miss it is if you're working close to home. And for us, what's close to home? Only having to fill the gas tank up one time. That's considered close. And then it starts getting expensive. You're working on the road, you're trying to work hours. So what happens? Okay, you're on a job and you're working 7 days a week. Well, the birthday party's on Saturday. Okay, so you work Friday, you fly home Saturday, depending on how far you're at, you fly or drive home. Okay, the flight or the fuel mileage was $500. Usually it's always last minute, so the tickets are always high because you never know when you're gonna go home. Plane tickets are high, so you spent $500 to $600. Just you haven't done nothing yet. All you've managed to do is to get a way home and back to work. Okay, now Saturday, time and a half. All right. You essentially probably lost about another 700 to 800 bucks not going to work. And then Sunday's double time. You probably missed another $1,000. Okay, so you've lost essentially about 15 to $2,000 just not going to work Saturday and Sunday, and then you spent $500 just on a plane ticket. That's not including all the stuff that you want to do when you get there. You want to buy this, you want to buy that. There's this guilt that you have when you haven't been home and around your kids that you just want to do everything under the sun with them. I've been guilty of it for a lot of years where I feel guilty and I'm like, all right, we're going to Disneyland, we're going we're going to Roscoe's Chicken and Waffles, we're going here, we're going there, we're going to buy the toys, and before you know it, you've missed 4 days. You've been gone off of work for 4 days and you've missed all that money. But again, some guys it's worth it. For me, it was worth it. Money wasn't everything. And that's another reason I decided to get off the road, but being gone and missing everything will take a toll on your family. It really will. And that's why I've spent so long on missing everything. I've got a whole episode about that that stuff. That's gonna be a really good episode that you're gonna want to tune in. I'm gonna call that one pros and cons. Okay. Because I want to tell you everything. That's what I want to do. But yes, you won't be there for anything because we work in the fall and we work in the spring. It's mostly when school is in. Summertime are out, okay? So we are going to check that off. Now, another one. Here's a good one. Find someone who you can travel with. Find a buddy, a work partner, someone you can trust. This will make your job on the road and your life on the road a lot less stressful. Depending on the type of person you are. Me, I'm the only child. I don't care. I talk to myself. Hell, I'm talking to you guys and nobody's there. I'm just talking, right? But if you have a work partner, it makes things easier, less expensive, more economical, right? But you're gonna have to really trust each other. There's gotta be a give and take. Whether you guys are gonna be on the same shift, that could be kind of difficult. I've only done it with my best friend, and it worked. We got along with each other. We're still cool to this day. I know how he is. He knows how I am. But having that trust is very, very key. It could be better if you work night shift or he works day shift and you guys are working 12s. You'll never see each other. You never run into each other, maybe just on your day offs. So that can help too. And again, you save money. Like I gave you the example earlier. If there's a decent hotel for $400, that means you pay 200 and he pays 200. So you guys are winning that way all across the board when you work together. You drive one vehicle to the job site. It's just less, and less things that you have to worry about when you're working together. So I would suggest finding someone who you can split your bills with. Now, getting with a company who pays for your room. This is rare, but not rare. All right. They're definitely out there. I've definitely got to experience it. You save so much money. Now, depending on who, what, when, and where, I have no idea how to help you about that. That's in your field that you need to find out. But I'm going to tell you why it's important, okay? If you're able to get with a company who pays for your room, you can come up so fast. All right. I'll give you an example. The company that I was with, okay, you're gonna have to message me and I'll tell you the exact company. I'm not gonna tell you over the internet for free 99, okay? But the company I was with, they would, depending on the city, they would either give me $60 or $150 a day per diem, and they would still take care of my hotel room. So three birds with one stone, I'll tell you. They gave me my per diem, took care of my hotel room, and then what do? You go to the front desk and sign up for the loyalty points. Every hotel has loyalty points. I was working in Fort McMurray, Alberta, staying at the Radisson. I stayed there. I signed up the first day and I stayed there for about 3.5 weeks. I got back to the States and I was just curious. I put my mileage in and I had enough hotel miles to get a room for 7 complete days just from that 3 weeks that the company paid for me out in Fort McMurray. And then I traveled with the same company again. I believe this time was at the Sonesta, and I think I might have only stayed with them for about 9 or 10 days. And I was able to get 2 free days at the Sonesta just off of that. But I always sign up for everything, even if it's just one time. You just never know, because you do it that one time, you're going to regret if you end up staying in the same hotel over and over when you could have been getting paid for it. So you got to remember that. And especially if you are a traveling person and they're flying you everywhere and they're getting your rental cars, you want to sign up for as many things as you can. Sign up for the rental car, sign up for every airliner, especially if you live somewhere where the flights are always changing, you're not on the same airline. Same with the rental car. Sign up for the preferred list and the fast pass and all that jazz or whatever, so you can get the most out of you. Okay. There's not too many companies that's not gonna let you do it. It has nothing to do with them. It's paid for anyway, right? So why not take advantage of something that will help you on the end game? All right. So that is something that I really, really suggest. It's worked really good for me. All right. Here's a cool one. Now, this is a money grabber, specifically more for our Canadian audience that's listening out there. Now, there are a few jobs like this out here in the States, but out in the northern part of Canada, they call it the man camps. Now they do have them here in the States. What is a man camp? A man camp is essentially a big giant hotel for construction workers. And that's exactly what it is. So when you're staying at a man camp, you don't pay for anything. The food is paid for and your room is paid for. Now, granted, you are going to be in maybe like you could be in like a 300 square foot room, sometimes a 200 square foot room, but you can eat all the food you want. Usually the food is decent. I've never had any complaints in a bad man camp. The only thing that I didn't like is, depending on where you go, sometimes they have this thing, it's called a Jack and Jill bathroom, where you have one bathroom on this side and one bathroom on the other side, and the toilet will be in the middle, and it's called a Jack and Jill bathroom, and you'll have to share the shower and the toilet. I don't like that, because I don't know what that other person is doing in that toilet. I don't want to know. But the thing about the man camps is you save a ton of money, because you're not buying food unless you want to. You're not buying booze and smokes and drinks and stuff like that, because a lot of these places you can't drink inside of the camps. So it's not a big deal to me. I don't drink, but a lot of people do. But I just want to kind of give that to you. Find jobs where they have a man camp. You can Google these things. It's not a foreign language. I'm just trying to give you the knowledge just in case that you don't know what's going out there. So I can try to help you take back home as much money as you can. Staying in a man camp, you can save a ton of Gouda. All right. Those are my that is my short list of what it could be like on the road. You want to think about these things. Do you want to drive up and down the interstate all day? Get on a job. They say it's 4 weeks. You only get 1 week out of it. Do you want to do that? Do you love seeing new places? cities you've never been to, it happens, right? So these are things that you're going to have to juggle and try to figure out if the road life is for you. So again, I am Industrial Dave. I am giving you my real life experience on this. Thanks for tuning in, and I will see you guys next time. Peace out.